Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Nick from Rise Up Sports, and I'm back with another video. Today, I'm going to be ranking NFL teams again. Today, it's going to be the NFC North, and I'm excited for this. This division is interesting, and I'm going to say why I think it's interesting. As you can see, back on Tier Maker here, I'm going to be ranking these teams today, and I honestly think I'm going to shock people with my answers because for one, I'm going off the top of my head with their additions, and I'm gonna base it on kind of my knowledge of the team already, without kind of going into like super detailed of like who they brought in. I tend to look up like who they brought in, but I'm just gonna go off of like my knowledge of the team. So we'll see how that goes. But we're gonna start with the Detroit Lions today. Detroit, I think, is one of the worst teams in the league, but I think they're going to perform the best this year out of the worst teams because, I mean, Jared Goff at quarterback's not getting you anywhere, and I'm sorry for Lions fans, but y'all just will have to ride his contract until he, decides to leave because he's not good. If there was another quarterback there, like a Jimmy Garoppolo or I don't even know, like somebody who is kind of on the way out, like a Matt Ryan or even Carson Wentz or somebody like that, I think that would help your team out a lot. But Jared Goff, a quarterback's not getting you anywhere, so that is going to lower my ranking for this team. But I love DeAndre Swift. They drafted Penei Sewell. Love those additions. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's a great receiver this year. Jameson Williams was drafted. I remember that. And, we'll see when he is able to play because of his injury. But, with those two receivers, that's really good. TJ Hawkinson's a great tight end. I mean, you're really building your team up. Jamal Williams, I believe, is still there. Yes, Jamal is still there because I've seen TikToks of him who he's the guy to like pump up your team. He's a really motivational guy. And so you have those two guys. In the backfield, then you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then Jameson Williams, and then TJ Hawkinson. So that is kind of your offense, and that's a really good offense with Penei Sewell, Frank Ragnow. I know those are the guys I just know off the top of my head. I'm sure they have other guys I'm not thinking of. But, I mean, that's your offense. Defensively, don't really know everybody on their defense. I can't honestly think of a guy who's on their defense. There's just not a whole lot of notable names unless I'm missing one. So let me look that up really fast. Well, this is why I'm glad I looked stuff up because my knowledge would have forgotten the number 2 pick in the draft this year, Aiden Hutchinson, that you guys got. So sorry, Lions fans. My mind's been on NBA action recently, and I've got to train my brain to get back into football mode. But Aiden Hutchinson is on your team. He's going to be a beast right away. I guarantee you that. And then you have guys like DJ Chark, who I forgot, who's on offense, who's a beast. But then you lost, well, I mean, he's not a beast. I wouldn't say DJ Chark's a beast, but he'll be a good kind of number 2 or number 3 receiver for you. And then Trey Flowers is the guy who I remember on their defense who they lost. And then you have, I think, Deshaun Hand is a defensive tackle on your team. Other than that, though, it's kind of a yikes everywhere else on the on the field. There's not a whole lot of talent on your defense, but your offense is there. And so with that being said, I think because of the offense alone, and they were in a lot of close games, I think they'll be around 6 or 7 wins this year. I think that's going to be a big improvement. I think if they can get to 7 wins, that'll be really good for them. And I honestly think this is where they will be. Could I see them being at 2 or 3 wins? Sure, I could. But also, I think with the amount of close games they were in last year and how competitive they were, I think they'll win some of those games that they lost last year. Now on to the Packers. And I know some Packers fans, and I know that they probably won't be too happy with my ranking of them this year. Just because I think the loss of Davante Adams is bigger than people think, especially when Aaron Rodgers doesn't like to throw to people he doesn't really know. And that's going to be this year because when you look at Allen Lazard and Marquez Valdes-Scantling as your top 2 receivers, and you brought in Christian Watson from the draft. Aaron Rodgers doesn't really have anybody to throw to. He's going to be throwing to Robert Tonyan a whole lot. I guarantee you that, because he does trust him. Other than that, though, like, I just don't see what they were doing. I honestly don't know what they were doing. And as I'm pulling up the defensive players that you got or lost, it looks like Devondre Campbell signed. That's great. But other than that, I don't see a whole lot. It looks like they brought in Sammy Watkins as the receiver. Will he be anything? But then, I mean, they don't even have Marcus Valdes-Scantling anymore. That's news to me. So that's why, I mean, I'm definitely not a football head. Like, I don't look at football all day, every day, so I don't know everybody on football, but basketball is my thing. But on the key losses that I see here with Davante Adams, I knew that one was a big one. Zadarius Smith is gone, so that doesn't really help you out too much. I mean, you still have Preston Smith, and you still have a good secondary. I really like, obviously Jair Alexander is a beast. Darnell Savage is a beast at safety. But other than that, like, I just don't see a lot in this defense or team, because Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon are beasts in the backfield, but the receivers are just not there. Like, they just aren't this year. And so I think it's gonna have to be a run heavy offense, and Aaron Rodgers is good enough. I mean, he's a 2-time MVP in the last 2 years. Like, he's won back-to-back MVPs, and he's been really good. And so I'm sure he can figure out a way to make it work. But with all these losses, and Billy Turner, also an offensive lineman that they lost, it's going to be tough this year. And I don't think it's going to be your classic 13-3 Packers. I think they'll win around 10 games this year. I think it'll be 10 or 11 wins. That might be enough to win the division, but I don't know. Like, it's going to be tough this year. And going into my next team, it's going to be real tough for this team, and that's the Chicago Bears, who I think are going to win 2 or 3 games. I think they might be the worst team this year in the NFL. I almost said NBA. In the NFL. Justin Fields is going to probably start this year. I'm assuming he will. And then you have David Montgomery. You have Darnell Mooney. Yeah, that's about it. You don't really have too many other players. Khalil Mack's not on the team anymore, and I just don't know what that is the one team, the Chicago Bears, to me, are the one team that I just don't know what they're doing anymore, because when I look at their draft, it's like they took Velus Jones Jr. as a receiver. Velus Jones, like, have you heard of him? Probably not, unless you're a Bears fan, because he's not good. Like, he might prove me wrong, but, like, I haven't seen anything on him that people have said he's good. You lose Khalil Mack, you lose Allen Robinson, you lose Akeem Hicks. Big losses. James Daniels, a guard, he went to the Steelers. That was a big pickup for them, but a terrible loss for the Bears. And then Dan Trevathan, you lost. Alec Ogletree, Deshaun Gibson, Andy Dalton, like, all Nick Foles. Like, you lost a lot of guys on the Bears, and this year, like, I don't know, dude. It's gonna be rough, and I can't name you all the players on the Bears, and I can't say, oh, this guy's gonna be really good this year, because I don't know. I know Justin Fields will improve, but it's gonna be really hard to improve on a team that's so bad. So, I think 2 or 3 wins is about accurate to where they'll be. But this next team, the Minnesota Vikings, I actually have high hopes for this year. I'm not a huge Kirk Cousins guy. I don't think he's any better than Case Keenum, who they had there a couple years ago. He might just be a little bit above where Case Keenum was, but Case Keenum played great for that 1 year. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking about him, because I'm just a fanboy of Case Keenum. So anyway, Kirk Cousins, he's okay. Like, he'll win you games. I don't think he's really any more than a bottom tier quarterback in the NFL, though. I don't think he's going to do anything to magically change your life. But when you have the weapons they do with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen at receiver, beasts. Justin Jefferson, one of the top receivers in the NFL, and I think he'll continue to get better. And then you have Dalvin Cook and Alexander Mattison, who look almost identical on the field, to be honest. Like, you can't really tell them apart. They look so similar. It's crazy. So that's your offense, and that's a really good offense. You're building up your offensive line. Your defense is getting better. I really like what they did on defense this year. When you add Darius Smith from the Packers, when you add Lewis Cine in the draft, I think it's an underrated safety pickup with, Harrison Smith not probably lasting too much longer. I think that's a great pickup. Andrew Booth is a great pickup. Patrick Peterson, even though he's old, is a great pickup. So they really worked on their secondary in the draft. You brought in, and then also Jordan Hicks. So Jordan Hicks, Darius Smith at linebacker, like that's just solidifying those positions. And I think that'll help a lot because corner was a big issue for them last year. And I think with Andrew Booth and Patrick Peterson, that'll help. I'm not saying it'll fix anything, but it'll definitely help with potential blows they could have in their secondary. Michael Pierce being released doesn't help, and then Anthony Barr and Everson Griffin, two of your best linebackers, leaving. But then you're bringing in two good linebackers, so it kind of washes out. I think their defense got a little worse this year, but their offense is taking that next step, and so I think they're going to be around an 8 or 9 win team this year. I don't think they'll quite compete. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put them with the Packers at 10. I think they'll win 10 games this year. I think it'll be a dogfight. I honestly do think it'll be a dogfight for that division title. Like I think the Packers right now, I would say the Packers will win 11, Vikings will win 10, but it could go either way. I could definitely see it going either way. So that is my ranking of the NFC North. Packers at around 11 wins, Vikings at 10, Lions probably at 6 or 7, and then the Bears just are gonna suck it up like they normally do. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'll be doing the NFC East, I think, next, and you'll see that next. So that'll be awesome. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next Rise Up Sports.